Hello.
We're live. Oh, you're such a bitch. Hang on, guys. I gotta fix my hair.
We're here early because Jana has to leave early.
Yeah, I gotta go get my kid from camp. So
Kid camp.
Now you're getting this hair. Anyway. Good morning.
Oh, I cut my hair.
You cut your hair? What?
My husband's like, your hair's too long. He's like, you should go for your birthday and get your hair did. And I'm like,
wait,
fucking
it was
today.
Your birthday?
No, my birthday's coming up.
I was gonna say I didn't miss your birthday. I'm not that bad of a work wife. Okay.
My birthday doesn't count. So he's like, you should go get your hair did. And I'm like, I will never pay a nice woman to cut my hair. So I just hacked it off in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh, that's so you. That's so you.
He's like, but you didn't have to do that. I'm like, listen, I cut my hair like once every 3 years, and that's my contribution to
listen. You tricked him into marrying you. When he thinks your hair's too long, you can chop a few inches off in the bathroom. It feels like a good trade.
I'll be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, it's always up. So how am I supposed to know?
Yeah, that's part of the pleasure of the hairdo. It's a surprise every time. So it's episode 68 on a Not Safe for Work podcast. Jana, did you know that?
I didn't know it wasn't safe. Dang it. Is it safe? Am I supposed to be swearing or not supposed to be swearing? Now I'm confused. One
of these days we'll do a safe for work one that's like official, but I'll have like the face like this the whole time. Like holding
just like once a month, we should just try it to see how long we can go without messing up. It would be pretty fun.
Man.
Maybe like a Friday night episode of drinking, and it has to be safe. Whenever we swear, we have to drink.
Jana, slap me with some who's in the chats.
So Balls of Fury, I just noticed he's way out of order, but he said this is his first time watching. So welcome to the Hold Back Live. And hopefully you have earbuds in, or you're not blasting it at work, or there's no children about, because it's not safe for any of those things, in case the good things you've been hearing did not include a warning. Let's go back and see who is in the chat. Obviously, Will Teleheat, our little podcast whore, is here. Bree, Smoky Mountain Balls.
Hi, Bree.
The one I can't ever say and makes me feel dumb. Aurelio.
That's pretty good.
That was pretty good. Okay. Scenic City. Oh, look, I was in the chat. That was me. I should have signed it.
Jana was in the chat.
Boza Balls. Sierra Scales, Powerhouse, he's a sponsor. Hello. Lady Tiz, thank you for joining us. Hi. Little fangirl moment, sorry. Serpentine. Okay, but you didn't say if you were Wayne or Alice. So now we just don't know. Jamie's here.
Hi, Jamie.
Reptile Bros. That
Bros before hoes.
Bros before hoes. Did I say forward motion?
No. Hi, Jared.
Hi. Multiplayer morphs. Another good one. Oh, our number one fan is here. That would be Chris, the husband. Richard with Creative Coralophus. Beauty in the Balls. I actually really love that name. That's so cute. Stone Cold Blood. Texas Kid, Lou Balls.
We got a lot. Thank you for joining, everybody.
Ivan Hook, Macomorph. I think that's everybody so far.
All right. Thank you for coming. We're a mess as always.
Not a mess. I mean, just like
I feel like
adorably disheveled. SSV Reptiles, hello.
Also, the cat's still here, everybody.
Cat's still here. Look at her cool background. I feel like, wow. I need to step up my crap, guys.
I'll make a diamond hand one for next week.
What?
Diamond hand.
What's that?
We talked about this. Did you forget?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Usually, yep.
We'll go into it next week because you'll have a visual reference at that point. But Diamond hands here, Jana.
Diamond hands. Does it like jazz hands?
It means you'll hold a stock position. Your hands are so strong, they're like diamonds. If you have paper hands, you won't. So if you think ball pythons are worth keeping, you will hold them, even if there's like uncertainty in the market. So are you diamond-handed or are you not diamond-handed? Hodl all day. Okay, sorry.
Well, Reptile Bros is speaking your language, even if I'm not. So, I mean, at least some people know what you're saying.
Listen, boys love picking stocks.
Apparently.
All right. Did you know that we have sponsors?
We do? I thought we just like got some pictures and slapped them up there. And
yeah, it's all fake. Those aren't
all
even
fake.
Real businesses.
Yeah, they didn't really even consent.
For $5 off your crypto panel from Research Associates Laboratory, use code SHITHAPPENS. Please. It's actually like a great deal. And this is an infinite use code. There's no one-time $5. You can use it on all of the ones on that paper and all the ones in the future. Because
every test, every time, multiple tests at one time. Tell your friends, they can use it every time. There's no limit as long as you do not send bags of shit, people.
Mm-hmm. That's the only requirement.
That's the only requirement is you got to write it on there, and you just write anywhere on the sheet, #ShitHappens, and you're good to go.
Thank you, Raul. We appreciate everything you've done for us and for the community because you're saving lives. Let's be honest.
Right. And if you want more multiple use things, you can join the Discord. You have to message one of us and we will send you the invite. It is a testing friendly biosecurity Discord, not necessarily a holdback rack Discord.
Yeah, they don't really care about this podcast.
They don't care over there. We do not matter to them. It's a biosecurity testing discussion.
Yeah, some people's Discords are behind Patreon walls, but this one is free.
This one's not. It's free. But it's not really. There's a Facebook group for holdback. It's called a holdback harem. If you're looking for,
I've stopped using it. Let's be honest.
Groupies, but no one's there. No one gives a crap. So you could try to join it. It might happen.
Yeah, I'll still approve you if you want to. We didn't have enough people get in fast enough, and people weren't using it for their personal discussion. So then it's like, I don't know. We'll see if we ever get friends. Who are other sponsors? I think technically there are more than one.
There are more than one. We have Mr. Shane Kelley, who put up a phenomenal video on YouTube. Are we going to play this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go for it. Okay, I have no audio, so I don't know if we're going to actually play it. It's all right. I wrote it down. It's cool. I'll just go to my notes. Okay. Mr. Shane Kelley bred GHI, Red Stripe, Yellow Belly Fire Clown, which I need to steal, to his Super Blackhead, Lesser, OD. And the snake that you are seeing on the screen is his female holdback, which is a Blackhead, GHI, OD, YB, Red Stripe Fire Het Clown. And he has a bunch of other really awesome combinations that will be going up on his morph market once they are established and ready to go. So if those combinations are something you're looking for, you're going to want to hit up Mr. Shane Kelley.
So you can't hear Shane talking right now?
Nope.
But you heard
earlier. Yep.
This is the same screen share though.
When you screen shared it before, it was the only tab open. So maybe that matters.
All right, we'll have to see later if it matters. Okay. It should have. It's all in the same. I didn't share the tab. I shared the screen. So all audio on the screen you should be hearing. So
I am not.
Right.
Bree said in the comments that she also did not hear.
Mother trucker. Talk about Powerhouse. I'll look at it. Please.
Oh, I was gonna hit some people in the chat that are new. Jaw dropping morphs, finally catching his first live. PCF, funny royals, beast morphs, and Macamorph, I think I already said you, but we'll throw you up again. Oh, Triple S could not hear us. And hello. Okay, so Powerhouse Pythons, also a sponsor, also local to me because Jessica abandoned ship. He invested into the Leopard Gecko game this weekend at the PACNWRS show, and I wrote down what he got into because I don't speak Leopard Gecko. He has a whole bunch of pictures up here if you guys want to see the...
They look like they're from JMG.
I believe they are from JMG because he graced us with his presence. I would love to know. He probably won't tell us how he did. A couple of people, I think, did ask him at the show how he did, and he was like, I did good. So I don't think he's going to give us a number, but it was a really good show. We'll talk about that after the main event. But Andy got into Max Snow, Hyperaxanthic, and Reverse Stripe. So if those words mean things to you, that's what he's gotten involved in. I got to see them in person, even though I have no idea what they are, other than leopard geckos. There was some really cool stuff.
I like Max Snows, but...
Is that what that is?
Well, it's like a Max Snow Eclipse Hyperaxanthic. But I wish they didn't have like the head deformities that they have some of the time. So I don't know what to do about that. I don't know the rate of deformities. No, I'm bringing it down. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, buzzkill.
God.
Stoneage Ball Pythons. He has a new Instagram, and it's the Stoneage _ball_ pythons is his ball python specific, since his other one went viral and blew up. And he does a lot of reels and other things that have nothing to do with ball pythons anymore. And so he made one that's just dedicated back to his ball python business. So if you are not following him there, please go follow him there for, content that's relevant to us. And in the coming weeks, we're going to be announcing a giveaway that he's doing on there. So stay tuned. Next week, we will talk about his giveaway.
All right, really quick, upcoming shows. I'm in Arlington. A lot of people are also in Arlington, but I'm going on Sunday because I have a snake to drop off, and I want to try to show my tits for a table or something.
What about if I send you a picture of my tits and you show them my tits?
I don't even know whose tits to deposit. Because you email them, it goes nowhere. And then I've heard rumors that if you email
him your tits, does that help?
You can't attach a pic to the thing,
Wait, Tyler, you're 18 now, right? We might have to kick you out if you haven't turned 18 yet.
This is an adult content.
This is adult-only content.
And then just quickly, I'll be at Reptile Nation on April 1st and 2nd in Dallas, Fort Worth. And then Jana will be, and some of our sponsors.
Oh, they don't have their new one up, but we will be in Hillsboro. I put the date down. Hang on. It's like the
22nd and 23rd. And
thank you.
The Northwest Reptile Expo. When, Jana?
May 13th.
Good job. You going to sleep through this one?
I fucking hope not. Never going to live that down. A whole bunch of people came up to me, so obviously listeners, and said, you didn't sleep through it. Good job. So many people. Not, hey, we listened to the podcast. I got so many people that came up and they're like, you actually bothered to show up, even though I was hot and sweaty and kind of late. It's fine. VIP hours really set up hour anyway. No one cares.
Chris came in a little bit ago. Hi, Chris. And Lori came in.
Those are also sponsors, but we'll hit them in the second half.
Yeah, because we try to keep rolling.
Keep moving.
All right, let's, before I play this, let's do an experiment. Chat, can you hear the audio? All right. Mother. Hold on. Talk about your favorite color.
My favorite color is green. This green, actually, because it matches my eyes. Yes, I'm that vain. I'll just talk about what we're doing today and put some reference on it.
Just start the beginning of the
you fiddle with the technicals and I'll entertain the crowd. So we are talking about Chris Hardwick today. This is not a smash on Chris Hardwick. This is not a he's the worst person in the whole freaking hobby. Whoa! If you have a seizure disorder, look away.
I don't know what's happening.
Whoa! Okay, apparently the internet does not want us to talk about Chris Hardwick. So if you have not gone and listened to our introductory episode from a year and a half ago, you probably don't know this, but I got into the ball python industry because I watched Chris Hardwick's video, how to make $2,000 a month breeding ball pythons. And I have not been shy about that, even though I get a lot of hate over it. But I would really like to know who of you are lying and have not seen that video or did not watch that video of the baby boomers. And I would like to know how many of us that came in during COVID came in because of that freaking video. Okay. Because it has 84,000 views. Okay. Hey, Jessica, just to check, do any of our podcasts have 84,000 views? Just a quick check. Anybody have 84,000 views?
We're getting real close. Ever.
So if you have watched that, cop up to it in the comments, because I know there's some haters in here, but some of you are here because of him, and you're just too scared to admit it. And I'm not too scared to admit it. So while I know that there is some controversy surrounding him, I know that a lot of people that are in the industry do not respect him. I hear all that. We are here just to talk about my experience seeing this video and how it contributed to me entering the hobby. And we are doing like a retrospective. Hey, it's been 3 years. How do you feel watching it kind of a thing? And then is it relevant still? Was it true what he sold in that video, or was it false? What am I making a month? That kind of stuff. So this is not a shit on Chris video. If you are here for shit on Chris, sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah,
everybody's got room in the hobby. He's got way more subscribers than us. That video has so many views and like 210 comments. And like I said, I feel like a lot of us are closet old Chris watchers. So that's what we're going to talk about. My experience, not necessarily him, but how he reeled me in.
All right, let me see if the audio works. Ready?
Where I can actually breed them.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, thank God. I don't know what happened with the seizure part, but
but see how it's like its own tab? There's no other tabs up.
Yeah, well, I'm still just sharing the screen though. The other tabs are here, they're just down.
Okay, well, I'm trying to tell you that they have to be down.
Well,
even though I don't know how to say that with techniques, but it's fine.
I don't think so, but who knows? Okay. So we're gonna go through like what he says, but I don't know if we have to like listen to the audio because we could sort of verbatim tell it to you, but we're gonna listen to one specific piece of what he says.
One specific piece that I listened to, and I'm gonna tell you how that panned out for me.
So first, Jana, let's go back to innocent, pure Jana long ago. When you watched it originally, did you like what went through your head afterwards?
Okay, well, I got to take you on a little journey.
Okay, let's go on a journey. Are we pause? Oh no. The journey's canceled. Jana? All right, I guess we'll talk about Jana while she's not here because she's frozen. So that's pretty cool. Unless I'm frozen. Oh my God. Should we send signal flares? All right. I guess I'll talk about it while waiting for Jana's journey to wherever to come back. Okay. In the beginning of this video, he talks about how he was doing ducks and selling their eggs as hatching eggs on eBay. And he was talking about how he thought that was too much work because he had to give them food every day and water. And he was still only making $2,000 a month. And so his like incepting idea of getting into ball pythons was that ball pythons were less work. And I think he's obviously right. You do need to feed sort of birds every day, but they're not, I still wouldn't describe that as more work because usually they're in either a run or they're free ranging in your yard and you're just giving them like a dose of food, a bolus and a fresh water. And then they just do whatever they're going to do for the day. You don't like take care of them. And because they're like pooping outside or in their run, you're not spot cleaning a cage. You're just, mucking out the coop once a month or something. So like the workload is different, but it is daily. So I don't like agree that they're way more work. You just can't like go away on vacation without like a farm sitter. But that was his like incepting idea. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Jana. I can't believe the Chris Hardwick fans took her down. Maybe I should message her on Facebook. Somebody message her. Bree, this is your... Oh! Holy mackerel, she's back. What happened,
Hear
girlfriend?
me now. I have no idea. I am even hardlined into my internet. I had to end up restarting my computer because nothing was working. So
I talked about why I think chickens aren't as much work as he says they were.
Oh,
so
good.
You can start talking about your journey. Everyone was like, the journey was so short.
This is my journey. Goodbye. Okay. So my child is a huge Snake Discovery fan. And so we watched Snake Discovery. This was like COVID first happening. The world is shutting down.
Do we have to look at Chris the whole time?
Okay. We sure don't. Ew. Yeah. I mean, nothing but love, but I'd rather look at myself.
Okay, yeah.
So huge Snake Discovery fan. And we had decided we were going to get a snake. And obviously when you're researching, well, maybe it's not obvious, but anybody that's researched, the best first snakes are corn snakes and ball pythons. And so together we were doing like this research project of which one we wanted. And while I was Googling that and YouTubing it and learning about how to take care of them and which one was better, this video pops up. How to make $2,000 a month breeding ball pythons. And I'm like, that sounds pretty damn good. Here I am, stay-at-home mom, stuck at home mom. However you'd like to look at that. I really wanted to go back to school, but obviously the way the world had turned at that moment, that was not going to happen. Wanted to get a job, but the way that the world had turned, I was stuck at home. So I was looking for something to save my sanity, making my own money. When you're a stay-at-home mom, married to a very conservative person, it feels like you're not making your own money. Blah, blah, blah. We can dissect that later. But I saw this video and I was like, I'm going to watch this. So I watched it and then my mind went, and I was like, I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And now here we are. Jana's doing that. And I feel like I'm doing it better than he is, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's arrogant.
We'll see.
Maybe I shouldn't say that. But
I think there's a lot of people like you, though, because there's a lot of comments of like stay-at-home moms of newborns that are like, I just want to make a little extra money.
Yeah.
Without like trading my real time with my kids or household services.
I can do with my kids at home, especially during that time frame when you were stuck. You couldn't just grab a job if you wanted to because your kids had to be home, and finding daycare or childcare or someone that was willing to do online school with your kids during the day, it was like gold, and it cost so much money. So if you guys don't know, I'm a certified medical assistant, but when you have 3 kids, you should just know that you're probably going to have to stay home with them because 3 kids in daycare is more than a medical assistant makes in a year. So I would literally go to work, la 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 la, and they'd hand me my paycheck, and then I'd take my paycheck and I would hand it to the daycare lady, and then she'd be like, "You still owe me $1 million." So that didn't really seem worth it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know how anybody chooses to breed anymore because it's like a scam.
It's a total scam. I don't know. Maybe I should be a daycare lady, but I don't really like other people's kids.
No, you should definitely not be a daycare lady. It sounds terrible.
It sounds totally terrible. So
there's a lot of people in his comments that are like that. And like, there's like, this happens in other communities too.
Oh yeah, like the multi-level marketing and the makeup ladies and the Tupperware ladies and the
but in everything,
ladies,
erotica authors, you know, day trading, Amazon drop shipping, how to whatever, and often they're targeted at women because women are like, I don't want to leave my newborn baby while my body is still bleeding and leaking, and I kind of have to, but it wouldn't be worth it. Is there any way I could have it all? And so these kinds of videos are common. This isn't a direct attack on Hardwick, but that's the kind of person that this would appeal to. Because of how it's framed in this video.
Powerhouse Pythons with his sage advice. Just pin a $20 to your kid's collar and say be free. You know, when I was a child, youngest of many children, we were pretty much free range, what's considered free range nowadays. Back then that was just called parenting. Or not parenting. I'm not really sure, but we lived in a waterfront town, which in Washington is very common. Little tiny waterfront, bayfront towns are everywhere here. And we ourselves did not live on the water, but like right across the street was the town park with the pier, and we would go fishing and we would go swimming and we would go shellfishing, and there was a little marketplace, and we would go to walk to the marketplace with our hard-earned allowance, our dollar, and get ourselves some treats, and nobody ever questioned it. I mean, we were like a whole pack, so we were basically like a gang unto ourselves, except for we weren't causing trouble. And nobody questioned it. Nobody was ever like, where's your mom and dad? You know, it was just how things were. And I would never just set my child free into the world. I think nowadays they consider that abusive, and you would get reported. But definitely there's
a moral argument for not reporting somebody for doing that.
Right. There is lots of moral arguments for the benefits of free range children.
I know. Everybody needs to go watch Old Enough or whatever it's called on Netflix, where they send Japanese toddlers to go run errands, and they're like, you better fucking figure it out.
Life skills. I know that in New York, a family had been training and teaching their child how to use the subway system, and he was like 11, and he wanted to be independent in New York, and they felt pretty confident in his skills to be able to navigate the subway system, and he had a cell phone, and he wanted to ride the subway by himself. And so they were like, we have done all the foundation work, you go for it. But he was only 11, and she was like sharing it on social media because she was like a mom blogger or something, and she got reported and had to deal with like a whole investigation about how she was like an unfit mom.
Yeah,
even though he went on the subway, he navigated to where he needed to go, did whatever he needed to do, navigated himself home, had a cell phone the whole freaking time, which we didn't have cell phones in the 80s. I definitely did not have a cell phone. I didn't even have a quarter for the payphone. So like, I feel like there is some discrepancy in how we're allowed to parent these days versus how our parents parented us with no questions asked. I know that my ex had a bike, and he grew up in Vancouver, Washington, and his parents would be like, be home by dark, and he would ride his bike all over everywhere and had free range to get wherever he could within bike's distance, as long as he was home by dark. And I don't think that the children of today have the same opportunities that we had to learn about responsibility and learn about how to manage yourself and stay safe and things like that. But if you look at statistics, this is not what the episode is about, but I'm going to get into
waiting
it.
For Jana to finish up so we can.
She's trying to cut me off. She's giving me the
like,
shut up look. See, you guys think that she doesn't give looks, but she totally does. Statistics actually show that it's safer today than it was in the 80s and 90s. So it's just a weird paradigm. So Powerhouse, you cannot, unfortunately, safety pin a 20 to their shirt and call it good. So the moms of the world. What did your husband say?
Well, first there was this one, which is true, by the way. Of course, it's predatory on stay-at-home moms to try to trick them into some sort of business.
It's absolutely predatory, and we absolutely do it every day in almost all hobbies.
And yeah, maybe it would be better if they worked for $1 a dance or whatever. Let's be honest.
If people wanted to pay me $1 a dance, I would be up there shaking everything that my mama gave me. But nobody wants to see a girl that's given birth to 3 children dance on a pole. I'm just being real. Like, if I could make money that way, I'm there. But also, you cannot bring your kids into the strip club. So
right.
That also is not addressing.
Maybe predatory is the wrong word, but if you sell it softly as like the easiest thing, whatever, that's when it's slightly predatory. When you sell it exactly the way it is, that it kind of sucks ass, and you're working for your dollar you make, and it's not profitable for a couple of years, then it's not predatory. You're just telling someone of something they can do. So that's the question. You want to read that?
I wonder if anyone feels misled by this video and similar ones for reptile breeding. I certainly do not. And I feel there are plenty, Amazon drop shipping, etc., that are way more predatory.
Yes.
So Jessica's literally just saying that. Okay. Go ahead, Jessica.
Like an MLM or whatever is truly predatory. You cannot make money unless your downline is huge, which means you had to have gotten in early. But breeding animals for profit is a viable business, even at the bottom of it, as long as your profit is higher than your expenses, or your income is higher than your expenses. So you actually have a profit margin to work on, which almost all ball pythons have that.
We've dirtied up proper royals.
He was dirty to begin with.
We dirtied him up. We dirtied up the family-friendly guy. I don't know. I feel a little bad. I'm going to be honest. If you want to hear about profits and expenditures and comparing that to your revenue, Proper Royals actually just released a really great episode on that.
We got a nice shout out. Thanks, buddy.
There was a shout out there, and we're going to shout him out back. Like,
Hell yeah.
Really great example of what it looks like, what it costs, what you can make. He goes into that. I believe this is his second or third. It's not your third. It's just his second, right? That he's done this.
Done what?
His revenue.
This is his third year.
It's his third year, but I think this is only his second one where he reviews all his costs plus what he made.
It was his third time.
Adam, comment below.
Yeah, Adam, comment.
We're feeling like bad fans right now. But yeah, I mean.
So it's only predatory if you sell it as like the easiest thing in the world and you just need a pastel and a bumblebee. And obviously together they make.
Well, and I mean.
Snakes that are $200 and that's your goal.
I also think that like predatory is a really strong word because most of these things are being marketed to adults, and as adults, we have a level of cognizance that we can make our own choices financially, and so if you're gonna go,
I'm gonna hard disagree. Adults are not capable of making their own decisions half the time.
There are things that happen like. If you haven't seen on Netflix, the LuLaRoe disaster, which I almost got into, and now I'm kicking. I watched it, and most people watched it and were like, "Oh, I'm so glad I didn't get into that." I watched it and went, "Fuck, I could have made a lot of money."
Maybe because in the beginning.
It was the very, very, very beginning. One of the very first LuLaRoe reps was here in Tacoma, and I went to one of her parties, and she was trying to get me to be a rep, and my oldest was a baby, like still really young, like less than 6 months old. And she was the first rep in the area. She was on the video. And I was like, holy crap, I could have been one of those millionaires. Yeah, it turned into a giant train wreck. But I was like, Like the person that didn't buy into Microsoft or whatever, like I just felt
Please
really
don't
dumb.
conflate those two things as the same.
Okay, well,
You're
for
stressing
moms,
me out.
maybe.
No one do an MLM ever.
Anyway,
ever.
or like that you try to get into Mary Kay and they're like, you have to buy $5,000 worth of inventory.
Yeah, don't get into Mary Kay either. None of them.
And then you have a garage full of Mary Kay that no one wants. It's great. So ball pythons, he does touch on this, and we'll get
Let's
to that.
Let's just go through what he says and see if we agree or disagree. How about that?
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay. Sure. So I already went over chickens. If he thinks chickens are too hard, that's fine. But the thing about chickens and ducks and eggs is they're already at their price. They're at their commodity price. So the price can fluctuate a little bit, but you're not like expecting them to drop by 90% over the next 5 years or whatever. They are already at that price. So your goal is to make money at whatever the price is for hatching eggs, $20. So if you can do that, you have profit. If you can't, you don't have profit, you have a different business. But you're not like guessing the price decline over time the way we have to in the ball python industry. So in that way, it's easier. You have to scale to make more money, but it's just different and more logical. Okay. Ball pythons will never bite you at the 1 minute 50-second mark.
I would just like to divert just for a second. I swear, Jessica, look, she's getting real mad.
You have to leave early. We're at 40 minutes. Already.
Sorry, guys. We're not even going to get to the news, but he's saying that he quit watching Chris's videos because he pulled a stunt a few years ago, and that we need to draw lines, and that he lacks value. So we're not here to debate if he's a good person or a bad person. We're not here to debate if people should watch him or not watch him. We're literally here to talk about how I watched his video and how that impacted my life. So we're not saying he's good. We're not saying he's bad. We're literally just saying I experienced his video and it set me on the journey that you guys are now here experiencing as well.
In fact, I guess we have to thank Chris Hardwick for sending Jana on the journey. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here because of him. You're welcome.
All right.
Okay. So ball pythons never bite you. Comment below if you are a breeder that has never been bitten. Jube is also in the comments. Jube, you're just a pet keeper. Have you ever been bitten? I'd like to know. Inquiring minds. Jessica, have you been bitten?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially from ball pythons, because they they seem more reactive. Like a boa, there's like a slow buildup of them looking at you and then like thinking about how bad they are at you. And then they there's a lot of body language to read, and you can obviously read ball pythons too, but I feel like a ball python is like
quicker.
Just it's one brain cell decides to just do whatever right away. Like I'm defensive now, or I'm hungry now, or whatever. And they would probably be less reactive, if I played with them more, obviously. But like I get tagged by ball pythons more than boas, even though boas are technically meaner.
Literally tagged opening an egg box. Literally.
I know babies are confused.
You open up that thing and they're brand new. They're still all slimy. Some of them are still half in the egg, and they're like, bitch, watch it. And they're going to get you. And if you're not paying attention, if you're just like, oh, cute little babies, they're going to come for your face. So saying that they never bite you. So now I have been guilty of talking to parents in this way, but I always preface it like, the reason they're called ball pythons is because their natural instinct is to ball up and protect themselves, not to attack. And so, yes, they will bite you, but that is not usually their first instinct is to attack. Their first instinct usually is to protect. But that does not mean that you will never get bit. And if you are a breeder, you are 1,000% going to get bit by a ball python. So if snake bites are not for you, you're in the wrong hobby. So
I think it's just like bad.
We've debunked that.
That shouldn't be how you convince someone to start breeding snakes. Is that they never bite?
No, you should just be real and be like, they're gonna bite you. It's fine. It's like a blackberry bush.
Then
you
a little bit later, blackberries. He says ball pythons eat once a week. And then he says at 2:27, pop in for food and done for a week, almost like a pet rock.
There's been a lot of controversy about this, but I know that 3 years ago, I'm like, My dog needs to eat twice a day. My cats need to eat multiple times. You got to scoop their litter every day. Like in my brain, I'm hearing pet rock because I didn't know any better. Okay, judge me all you want. You can be harsh in the comments. It's okay. I can take it.
But you believed him when he said you only need to go in the tub once a week to feed. And
I absolutely believed him because here I am, stay-at-home mom, 3 young kids.
Mm-hmm. Were you still? Is this private? I don't know if I should ask this.
Go ahead.
Were you still a lactating mare at the time?
I was still a lactating mare at the time. I breastfed all my kids till they were 2, so I was like super trapped still. Because my daughter's 4 and this was 3 years ago, so she was still way young.
Still on the teat.
Still on the teat. I was still a lactating mare. I don't think we decided at that point if I was done being a brood mare or what.
Right, that changes your life being a source of nutrition for children because it's a lot of like, and now we have to do the nutrition.
Forward motion. I walked in at the wrong moment. Sorry. Back to life.
Drink your milk, everybody. It makes you for strong bones.
Strong bones. Yummy. Yes. So
you believed once a week.
I absolutely believed once a week. I absolutely heard it's so easy. And like I said, I had a very basic knowledge coming from Snake Discovery, who I think is wonderful. I'm not trying to say negatively, but who talks about the care of snakes. So I knew that what he was saying was relatively true, that they were easy to care for comparative to like cats and dogs, which had been my experience, or fish, where you have to like change their water all the time. And it is true, but they are definitely not a pet rock. They definitely, if you are only going into your enclosures once a week, you should be doing some soul searching because I don't think you're doing it correctly. I believe that a minimum
there are turds happening
2 to 3 times a week should be happening. I don't change my water on the day that I feed because I want to be able to go in there and check it, a second time. And then you should also be doing a third check. Anyway, there should be other checks happening during the week, and it should not be like he literally says in the video, like you open it up and they're still fine a week later. So, but I believed him. I heard that and I was like, I could freaking do that. I need something like that in my life. This is a really low, easy maintenance pet. I could absolutely have 10 and it wouldn't seem totally crazy. Although you tell someone that you had no snakes and now you have 10 snakes and they go freaking crazy. But I absolutely heard that and like ran with it and was like, this sounds too good to be true.
Right. Don't he obviously knows better though. So he was obviously playing up the ease factor.
He was absolutely playing up the ease factor. He was absolutely clickbaiting. He was absolutely, because part of selling in ball pythons, even though nobody wants to call it a pyramid scheme or multi-level marketing, is to draw others into the hobby with you. And we all do it. We all do it.
Yeah, we do.
We all send people on that journey.
The better.
Right, exactly. And so that was a huge appeal to me. That is one of the reasons I started looking into it so heavily, is because he made it sound like no work at all.
Okay, at $250, ball pythons are the snakes that are in the highest demand. So
I heard that, and I mean, I went and watched some other things and I saw the market, and I went on Morph Market and I saw that they were selling, and I saw that people were buying them. And then you look up like local shows around you, and most of the breeders are ball python breeders. And obviously if there's that many, then people must be buying that many, like it seemed true. But now 3 years later, I'm like, how did he get to that assumption? Like, I didn't ask any questions of like, how are you deciding this information? Because I was just like, yeah, that sounds great. Yes, they are so in demand. And I think I literally quoted him on that for probably 2 years without having
to other people,
or like people who were like,
or whatever.
Yeah, people who were like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, oh, they're the highest sought reptile or whatever. Like, how am I saying this? I have nothing to give you that proves that this is true. Like,
right. I mean, there's a lot of people be like, Ew, what?
Ew, what? Like,
obviously they are in demand, but like
they are in
most
demand.
in demand.
But the most in demand, how does he quantify that? Like, how did he reach that assumption?
Listen, he pulled that one right out of his butt.
Right out of his butthole. And I continued to parrot that information to any naysayers or anyone who is interested in the hobby for the next 2 years before I realized I have no way to back that shit up.
All right, new question. Now, knowing what you know now, just as like from a pure species level, not a morph of a species, but just the whole species, what would you think now is like one of the top 5 highest in demand species? And there's a bunch that I think would qualify, like 20, but like, and not to pet people necessarily, but just because he just has such a vague statement.
It's so vague.
Snake that is
and
in the
so
highest
sure.
demand.
He's like so sure. I don't think that it's the highest in demand, especially in this market, and especially like the oversaturation that has happened because of all the COVID breeders. It's not the most in demand if we're not talking about morphs or like specific projects or things like that. I think that variety is great right now, and a lot of people are looking into alternatives to ball pythons.
I'm going to say Japanese rat snakes are in the highest demand. Bless you.
Like, I know like a year into it, Mexican black kings were really big. Garter snakes have started getting really big. Like, there's just a lot of other ones, and there isn't really like a quantifiable data source because there are so many different markets from which we obtain snakes. There's local, there's online, there's different websites, there's behind closed doors. Like, it's hard to quantify that with actual data. And so
I'm saying species being in high demand must mean that the normals of that species sell readily.
Correct.
To me. So obviously ball pythons are in mid demand.
They're in demand, but they're not the highest, I don't think.
Right. So like every chondro that's born, somebody wants it desperately.
Correct. And like Constrictor says is that there's 50,000, so it can't be the most demanded thing ever. And
right. It just is so strange that he like posited that as a claim in his video to convince you to breed ball pythons. I mean, it's fine, but like, is that a slightly predatory statement to like exaggerate that much?
If people keep saying predatory, but I feel like when I researched it and when I got into it and when I even just like having knowledge of
predatory, I think.
Yeah, maybe when I had knowledge of morph market and shipping and stuff, like the local market here is so behind the national market when everything was getting really hot that don't do this, people, because of disease, blah, 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 blah. We've talked about this before, but I could go on to Craigslist and I could buy things that were worth triple on morph market if I was willing to ship it than what you had to pay locally. And so I would get things really cheap locally. And then if it didn't fit into my projects, because usually I'd buy up a couple, and I would sell those for the triple price. And then I would buy something that was relevant to my project. That is called snake flipping, people. And that's not necessarily an ethical or good thing to do, especially if you're not disease testing. But at the time, it made what he was saying seem really true. And that's why I said, that's why I kept parroting.
Yeah, but so what year did he say it? 2019?
2019, yeah.
It hadn't
even been up a year when I had watched it. It was fairly a new video. It didn't have.
I just think what's weird is your perception, because you came in during COVID, was affected by that. And so you're just gonna have to keep relearning all the different permutations of the market potentially. So it's fine. I think they're all dead, Kayla.
Jessica and I have had this conversation. I don't think it's been on the podcast, but we've had this conversation. Like, where are all the adult male ball pythons that are normal? You don't hear about them. You don't hear about them being like 20 or 30.
We had it because what's his face? Gray's Family Snakes sent me a message about it to see if I could prove to them that we have a missing amount of snakes.
Yeah, het freezer.
I think we do.
We do. Like, where are they? I don't know. We don't know. Where? Mystery right there. Anyway, and so absolutely, I heard that. Absolutely, I believed it. It seemed to be true in the first year maybe even the second year of my business. And it took really getting a handle on the market and really, I think even going beyond his understanding of the industry before I really wrap my brain around the fact that that is not something you should say.
Bob City brings up a good point. Demand is independent of supply. He may be correct that most people buy ball pythons than any reptile, which would make it in the most demand. Yeah, so I guess like if you think of there's
like 2 number 1 entry level snakes.
Right, but I think what he's implying here in the video is you make a $50 snake, it'll sell. You make a $1,500 snake, it'll sell, because all of those classes of snake are equally in demand relative to that price point. But I would like disagree. There are other $50 snakes that are easier to sell than a normal ball python for the same price point.
Right. So if you have a normal ball python and sitting right next to it, you have a normal corn snake, and you put both in the hands of the same buyer, a lot of the time they're going to be more attracted to the corn snake because it is phenomenally more flashy than a normal ball python. Not that I don't think classics are beautiful. I absolutely think they do. But sitting next to a classic corn snake, they look like dog poo. I'm sorry. They just do. And I'm not even a corn snake girl.
Or anything. Like just a cow king. Whatever.
A cow king. Yeah, like, they're just not flashy.
And it's not that there aren't demand for just ball pythons, period. It's just like, is it the most in demand? I don't know.
It's a very heavy statement that has very little evidence to support it.
Let's keep it moving.
Kenny says that John could probably tell us. So yes, Jessica could probably go into Morph Market and she could do an intensive, just like she did with the stock market episode, and look at it and analyze the data for us, for those of us who do not analyze data. And she could probably tell us.
I bet it is ball pythons. I don't even need to look at it. Because ball pythons adopted Morph Market, ball python people, vendors adopted Morph Market first, because that was the first categories they offered.
That's the first categories they offered.
When they opened up BOA categories, it was like delayed by like a year. And the BOA people were still on Facebook because Facebook hadn't done its animal sales ban. And they were like, we can't sell anything on Morph Market because BOA people don't go there. So it was only like recently. So I 100% believe ball pythons are the most sold.
Well, that's why you can't collect the data from all the different avenues of which reptiles are sold to make an educated opinion on what is the most. Like the data is so widespread and so like not in a format that's collectible that we can't say that with certainty. So like in the scientific community, we've talked about this before when Jessica talks about sciencey stuff. Like in order to state something with certainty, you have to have evidentiary support. And so the evidentiary support is so like thinly spread and in different avenues, behind closed doors, Morph Market, kingsnake.com.
Also like the
Facebook,
the
Instagram,
national
retailers.
They sell more corn snakes and leopard geckos than
wholesalers, like things that you're never going to be able to have access to that information. Yes, we could go on Morph Market and it's a wonderful place to get a snapshot, but it is not where all reptile sales happen. People like there are lots of other Craigslist. I mean, there's just so many places that reptiles are being sold that we cannot definitively say this is the most bought reptile.
Jana. Celebrity sighting.
Supreme geckos.
Wally. What's up, buddy? Yeah, we talked about this maybe like 8 episodes ago or something. Most of them died due to all kinds of reasons, but probably some of them due to just like neglect because they become commercially not valuable anymore. But disease, overfeeding, negligence, bad husbandry. Once they get to like the 3rd tier pet keeper who's keeping it in like the crustiest 10-gallon tank with no heat pad. Let's keep going. 258. The snake has residual cash value. I agree with that, but like
he even goes into, which I actually like at the time, it really blew my mind. He goes into the fact that a ball python he's got one in his hands in the video and he's like, this ball python has residual cash value. And he's like, you can go into a store, a local pet store, and they will give you credit or cash for this animal. And I've never tried to do this. but I believed him. And I know of people who have sold to our local shops. But most local shops either breed their own or already have someone that they're getting them from, a supplier. But they do have residual cash value. So if you need to get out or whatever, especially when I came in, which you have to remember, getting a breeder was like pulling teeth. Like you had to swindle your way into a deal to get an adult ball python because everybody was coming in trying to get adults so that they could breed. And so knowing that this was like, even if I get it now, then I know that it still has value if I decide this isn't something I want to do. So it felt safe that this had value and that I could market that value in multiple avenues, not just selling it into the pet world. Because when I came in, I assumed selling pets was what breeding ball pythons was all about. Like that's where it was at, is I was going to make these pets and I was going to sell all these snakes and I was going to make all this money and life was going to be freaking great. And I was going to open that bin once a week and throw in a rat or a mouse or whatever. And I was going to be like, yep, still alive. And everything was going to be great. You know, as I've got a baby attached to my boob and
on the boob.
Two screaming kids attached to my feet, I was going to just be rocking this ball python business, selling pet quality animals, because I didn't realize that there was different levels. There's
levels to this thing.
Well, and there's levels, but he doesn't talk about the levels. We'll get to that in a minute, guys. I promise. Okay, so they do have inherent value, and that was very, if anything, so far to me, that's the most predatory, is because you feel really safe investing your money in that.
The other thing is, if the value changes over time, is that less safe than an animal whose value is the same all the time?
So, I mean, you have to take in a number of things. And since I've come into the ball python world and I've learned a lot about what inherent value is. So say you buy something for $2,000 and you breed it for 2 seasons and then you sell it at a loss of, let's say, $800. You have to also factor in, say it's a male, you have to factor in how many clutches they had, how much money you made off of that male, in my opinion, to see if you have gained your inherent value from that snake. And so there's more to it than just like this physical snake has value. So I think even if it depreciates over time, if you gain value from it by creating other valuable offspring that you've been able to sell, then I think it does. But inherently, you're correct. If you buy it at 2,000 and you sell it at 800, is that good or is that bad? Like, you have to decide that.
I don't know. It's just like, in terms of like selling it to a new person, like the
ball python
knowing
industry?
that there are, yeah, like if you're trying to convince someone to come in, you're trying to huckster it up. Hey, little kids, do you want to see what's in my coat? It's ball pythons, actually, not a penis. But
let's see what
does it sound riskier to a new person knowing that all morphs are falling down to the pet price than like if you went to go get into, I don't know, cows or something, and you're like, I just want to breed low line Angus, and so I know I can take the calves to market for this amount, usually, if the beef prices hold. So like, it's just based on what the sale price of the head of cattle is, not, you know what I'm saying? Like, your herd depreciates as it gets older because it's less productive, but like, there's no like morph rise and fall or whatever.
Correct. At the time getting in and watching this video, and then even in my first year, I didn't have any understanding of that. And I don't even know if he has an understanding of that. He has to have a basic understanding of that, but he doesn't ever talk about it. And he doesn't ever, it seems like he's content at the pet level and he's content at the level that he entered into. And it doesn't seem like he's ever tried to excel beyond where he's at. Like, he's just completely happy in the little bubble that he's made. And I know that once I learn more and once I feel like I outgrew him or outgrew his channel or his information and wanted more information and wanted to get deeper into the industry and the hobby and the levels, that it became more important to me, if that makes sense.
Okay. at 440, he says his plan to make the money that he did was he bought 12 random adult females, normals or whatever, that were free or part of a group deal. And he said that was $1,500 and one higher end incomplete dominant male. And then in his case, it was Bobby the Bamboo for another $1,500. And then that male happened to be ready to breed. He bred all of them. And then he said that's how he made $24,000 that year, is the proceeds of buying a lot of adults very quickly and one incomplete dominant male that he hopes will breed.
So I actually followed that business model.
What was your incomplete dominant that you used?
Not a good one. Not bamboo.
The only way that works if A, it breeds, and B, it's expensive enough that half of the babies like make up for the fact that the other half are normal.
So I got really, really lucky.
I have a boo-boo, so I'm gonna work on that.
Okay. Well, okay. So I actually lucked into 10 breeder females from a local guy for I think I paid like $800 for 10. And
were they like normals and yellow bellies or
they were basically like a bag of tricks? I don't know. So here I am, this very gullible stay-at-home mom. I sold my old business in order to start this business. I used to weave on a 4-foot loom fabric for baby wraps. We're not going to go into that, people. So moving on, I sold my loom and all the accessories to it, and that was my startup money. So I had a few $1,000s to start up. So I bought equipment, and I bought these 10 breeder females, and I bought 2 males to go with them. He had some, and he was like, some are yellow bellies, some are normals, some are double het lav genetic stripe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought a genetic stripe male for like $300. And he had the possibility of being some other genes. Like I knew the pairing, but the person was like, it's genetic stripe. You can't effing tell, you know, like, so I knew he was banana, and I knew that he was lesser, I believe. And then we didn't know, we knew he was at least another gene, but we didn't know what else he was. And I didn't care because I wanted the genetic stripe to prove out some of these girls. And then I also had, I don't know, like just some like firefly leopard or something lame. And it just turned out that my male ended up being GHI, cinnamon, lesser, banana, G-stripe. And if he hadn't have turned out to be that, then I mean, I probably wouldn't have done as well my first year, but GHI at the time was pretty in demand. I mean, it's still really well liked, but it definitely was much higher end than. Are you hearing an echo?
No, my ear itches because I'm
I just heard an echo. Anyway, it was much higher demand than a firefly. Which, why was I breeding fireflies? Because I didn't know any better, people. Okay. And then also I could not tell a normal from a yellow belly, which if you cannot tell what your female is, you don't have any business breeding. That's just I mean, you got to learn, but if you cannot look at a snake and tell when it's one gene only what it is, like, you go back to the drawing board, please. But this is my real life experience, guys. So I judge myself probably more harshly than you're judging me right now. But I did end up having a clutch and the female turned out to be yellow belly. And so I have like a $2,000 snake pop out. And this is my first season. I'd been in it like 6 months, and out pops this really expensive snake, which I didn't even know was really expensive. Jessica was like, girl, you've got that listed way effing too low. Let me help you out. So if Jessica hadn't have been around talking sense into my ear, I probably would have sold it for like
$150.
$150. And I would have been like, $800. That's awesome. So my first season, I did have a $2,000 snake that I sold. And I actually should have just kept it. But at the time, I was like, I just made $2,000 off of a snake, and I was ecstatic. So I did. I bought a big group, but then we're going to go further down in his video and hear what else I bought. But I wanted to be able to.
All right, let's listen to it. We're running out of time.
We're gonna
here.
Go ahead.
And I would say, so for
Hopefully
a
everybody
business plan,
Otherwise-
if you're thinking about doing like, so if you for sure want, $2,000 a month for a whole year, pretty much long term, I would invest probably in 6 pied females and 6 clown females, and they'll cost you about $300 a piece. And then you'll have, 12 females, and each female can produce 7 eggs per year. So you're figuring that's quite a few. And then what you do is you get a couple.
There's that Hardwick laugh coming at you.
A couple more genes in there, and even if you produce all just straight clowns and pieds, you'll get $300 a piece. That's about, I figure, with 12 or 13 females, you're looking at about 80, close to probably about 80 hatchlings. And at $300 a piece, you're looking at pretty much $2,000 a month. So that's
his hot tip.
That's his hot
for
tip
the future.
I know I didn't tell you this beforehand, but I feel like we should go on Morph Market and look up how many normal pied ball pythons there are normal visual clown ball pythons.
Now there's a lot.
Straight normals, because it's like, how many people took this advice and went to town with it? So here I am. First season, I got my group of normies from a guy who was like, a new person. I'm just gonna dump these snakes on her because she dumb. And so I'm breeding them to learn on. And then I'm also like, but I need to get some investment quality snakes for the future so that I can make that $2,000 a month, right? Because that's my goal. $2,000 a month. Woohoo! So I get that snake that's $2,000, and I take that $2,000, and I'm like, I'm gonna follow Hardwick's advice because he's so smart. He knows everything.
Yikes!
So I got 4 female pied babies and 1 male pied, right? So I just got lucky because I was dumb, and they just happened to be like the same-ish prices as the normals, because I just put in like $350 and under for females. And at the time, like, if you would search like what had been on there the longest, you could talk them down. And I was like a queen negotiator, and I was like, I'm gonna get a deal. And I was that really annoying like tire kicker customer that everyone hates, and I'm like, oh, I need a picture of the parents, and I need a picture of it on a scale. And I mean, like, all of the barfy things that now I cringe about.
I do remember you being a little awkward.
A little bad. Yeah, it was pretty gross. So,
it's okay. We all grow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I got a normal, a low white normal, a pinstripe, and a pastel. All babies. And then I also got
all females too, right?
All females.
Okay,
and then
so
I got
followed the rules.
Yes, and then I got a banana pied male for that like $2,000 to grow up.
Isn't that terrible?
It's so terrible. Like, I want to throw up now just even thinking about it. To grow up, and this
Everybody
is going to be like
out for Jana.
Pour one out for Jana. This was my business.
It's just like
plan,
not a very
people.
Interesting bunch, and it would be like they would be breeding now. I guess you still have the females.
I have all 4 of those females, and I'm like, why do I have normals? Why do I have normals and 1 gene females? Like, if I had bought even like 2 gene females back then, it would have been only like $100 more, if even that. And I would have bomb ass girls to put to my clown male right now. But instead, I have normals. So
it's fine. Like, because that's what your budget was. But I think what the problem is like you could have had a bigger budget if you just thought about it, because you were like doing stuff, but you never thought that you should buy 2 or 1 with that $2,000. I think it just didn't occur to you.
Well, you tried to tell me, but I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna get a deal. And you're just like, Jana, stop buying cheap shit. So many times she was like, Jana, but did you get a deal? And now 3 years later, it's taken 3 years to realize I get what Jessica was saying. I finally understand. I'm a little slow sometimes, people. I mean, you gotta love me. But she's like, did you really get a deal? If in 3 years you're like, oh yeah, you have a normal. Good job. Like I also got like a couple of normal G stripes, but those were like $100 back in the day. Like they were nothing, but also normals.
So there are 456 pied ball pythons of any age with no additional traits, and clowns with no additional traits, it's 168. So to me,
that's not bad, actually. I thought it was going to be like thousands.
Well, with no additional traits. Do you want all traits?
No. I meant basic normals. That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's I don't know. The prices are pretty low right now in terms of like what's listed, like male clowns for 125, 150, male pieds for the same. So they're definitely yeah, I mean, and Sean comes from like a different universe where you could
I was just saying hi. I wasn't actually picking whatever you're saying. I don't know what they're talking about because I was talking.
Run down an ink dom quickly. Like that was a different game. And so that's partially what Chris was going after or talking about, but like the time of that is over.
I missed the boat. I was still over here going la la la, I'm doing so awesome, I'm following Chris's advice, I'm good to go.
All right, so yeah, people don't do that. Don't buy 6 like very boring things. I think if you make them and they're like basically free to you holdbacks, I don't know, who cares, right?
Right.
Like, it's clean,
or they have something that's like desirable in its polymorphism. Like I have a really dark pied that may or may not be something else, but I really love the way she looks, and so even if she's just like polygenics dark
selective
and she's
breeding
nothing else,
good.
Then I can put her to real dark genes and have a nicer base to put darks on top of, and so it has a purpose. And I made her so she was free. But the whole advice of like getting normals, and this is why when I outgrew him and started listening to Billy's podcast, which was like the next person that I went to and was getting advice from is Billy. He's always like, spend that extra $100, spend the extra $200, and make sure that every female that you buy has 1 or 2 genes, because if you put her to a 2 or 3 gene high-end male, now you've got 5 genes and you're going to put yourself so much further ahead. But I had already bought these animals and they were already growing up in my racks. And so this is the first year that they're able to breed if they go for me. And it's like, I wish I was sitting on 1 or 2 gene pieds instead of pretty much normals.
I mean, you can breed them this year and then like, move them on to somebody else. It's fine. Like, it's not like a tragedy to buy females, clearly. Like, you didn't buy 500 males. You bought female visual recessive, so it's fine. It's just like, this isn't the best advice
not the best advice out there. And so as a new person, that $2,000 could have absolutely, if I had listened to Jessica, PACNWRS, always listen to Jessica. I have learned that. It's taken me, 2.5, 3.
Except for on hair care advice.
Hair care?
Because I cut my hair myself.
Oh, I thought you were saying my hair looked bad. I'm like,
no,
hey now,
just don't listen to me
fired.
in terms of hair care. Ever.
Right. No.
I just hacked at it. I actually broke the first set of scissors.
It's really...
They were like, fuck you. That's too much hair.
PACNWRS, what's really funny about listening to Jessica is I told her about like 3 months into our friendship. I was like, you're my mentor. She was like, ew, no, gross. I'm not. Gross. Exactly that same reaction. And I was like,
disgusting.
Tough shit. You're my mentor. And she was like, don't ever call me that ever again. That
makes me very uncomfortable.
It makes her very uncomfortable, but it's true. And like, but I also wouldn't listen to her, and that made her really mad. But in like,
what's the point of being called mentor?
Well, I couldn't call you that anyway. So like, she would give me all this really great advice, and I'd just be like, yeah, I know better. I'm gonna figure it out. Now I usually listen to Jessica a lot. I still have big opinions and don't always listen, and it usually blows up in my face because let's face it, Jessica's always right. But now I'm listening. Okay, what did I spend all my money on this season?
The acid clown, he's cool.
And whose advice was it to add acid to my G-Star Clown project?
But I didn't make that up.
She can be taught, people. Okay, so like I have arrived at the point of listening and making really good decisions. But coming from where I came from with zero reptile experience, and yeah, okay, I caught frogs when I was a kid, and we chased garter snakes. I never caught them, but we chased garter snakes and like salamanders, and I fished, and the boys in my family went hunting. But I mean, so I was like around it, but it wasn't like life or death. Wow, okay, we're better now. I was not like a live or die reptile girl growing up. Mm-hmm. And then I was like living out my best life, finally being a reptile breeder. It was literally sitting at home, milking myself to death in utter misery, needing something
put
to
that
do.
In your spank bank.
That's right. Milking myself to death.
All right, Jana, stop yapping. We got to get this show on the road. All right, 11. Everybody wants ball pythons. Stuff's flying off the shelves. Really good investment is another statement he said verbatim, pretty much. Sort of. 11.25. Instead of scaling numbers, can upgrade morphs to make more money, which is true. Like he adds the upgrade strategy. You don't need like an infinite number of snakes. You can just then build upon the snakes you have. Correct, Chris Hardwick.
Correct. That was.
He did like sort of blow past like housing and equipment costs at. But he did say that
he did say that he spent a lot up front to get the nicest equipment, and that you didn't necessarily have to do that. But that's all I heard was you don't have to spend all this money on this really fancy crap that I have. I heard do it on the cheap, and I took that to heart all the way.
Right. But he doesn't really mention carrying costs for food.
He doesn't at all. It doesn't talk about how expensive rodents are. It doesn't talk about if you breed your own rodents, how much freaking work it is. It's way more work than the ball pythons. Mm-hmm. He doesn't talk about any of that.
So it was a very like seductive first introduction to the idea.
Oh, and yeah, like, you have 10 ball pythons all of a sudden, and you're like, oh shit.
Magically, you make $2,000 a month.
How much am I supposed to spend on feeders? Wait, what? I'm supposed to have my own feeders? Wait, you mean I was supposed to ask if they eat live or frozen thawed? I literally have 10 snakes now.
And like, they all have nido, so you have
I don't even know. I don't even know how to feed these things, and I've got 10 of them. Like literally, I had 10 snakes. The first time that I fed a snake, I already had 10, and I was like,
"That's fucking nuts."
I guess we'll wing it,
woman.
And my ex was like, "What if you're scared of them?" And I was like, "I guess I'll have to suck it up."
That's so fast, Jana. You're crazy.
Literally, 0 to 10. That's how I went.
Snake when I was 12.
Nope.
And I'd already had an iguana since I was 8.
The only time I'd ever held a snake was at a elementary school reptile education show assembly. And so
bitch,
like
you crazy.
I crazy and I had fucking 10, and my family's like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, I got it, guys.
And you say great predatory that you went from 0 to 10 before ever feeding the first one.
Yeah, but that's on me. That's not on him. Like I know,
but you were convinced before knowing. You learned a lot and you did a good job learning, but I'm just saying, like, no, I don't think it's good that you could have bought 10 without knowing.
No, I absolutely,
I don't know.
Like within a couple weeks, I had 2 racks. I had 10 snakes. I had we had ordered a snake on Morph Market for my daughter, but it had just been born, so it wasn't ready yet, and it was in New York. Saul's Balls in New York. Shout out to you. Sold me my first ball python, and I was total dumb. Before that snake was established and shipped to us, I had 10 fucking adult females that I was trying to figure out how to take care of when I knew almost nothing. I had basically done enough to buy one as a pet.
We need some sort of banner that says, don't listen.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's so dumb. Like, get one and see if you even like snakes. I mean, don't even get one. Like, find a friend that has one and go hold one. Nothing. I'd never been to a reptile show. I'd never even seen a ball python. I'd never held a ball python. And I was like,
it's so fucked, dude.
hold my ear. I got this shit. Like, I got it. And I mean, like, come on, guys. I'm still here. It's fine.
All right. So we've analyzed Chris Hardwick's video. We've decided it is to be found wanting. So now let's
wait. I have one more thing I need to add. And I missed this the first time I watched it. I probably missed it the second time I watched it. I totally caught it when I watched it this week. He is recommending and telling people that you can make $20K a year breeding retics. Why is that even in there? Because if I had taken his advice, I knew nothing about retics. I knew nothing about the care of retics. I didn't know how big retics got. I didn't know anything. So if I had like didn't have ADHD and was already like off buying 10 ball pythons and had like, totally missed the end of it, I could have gone out and bought 10 retics.
Yeah, he does at the very end be like, and you can make $20K if you just breed retics because they have a lot of eggs and each baby is $500 or whatever. So
right.
Like,
so if I had like had the attention span to like follow through and watch that,
he doesn't actually explain to you that a retic is a very high level
pet and that you shouldn't be,
and you should be ready.
Yeah, you shouldn't just sell that to anybody. I mean, none of that was said. And so like watching it now, I cringed.
You could have bought retics.
I cringed so hard because I literally jumped in with both feet. No, I jumped in with my whole damn body. And if I had done that with retics, it would be bad news bears, guys. Like that ball python's okay. They're pretty, I mean, like a monkey can do it. It's okay. Like I figured it all out and everybody survived. I didn't kill any snakes. I had 12 clutches my first year, which is insane. Don't do that. But everybody survived and everybody was fed and it was totally fine. But if that had been retics, can you freaking imagine? Like here I've got the baby on the boob while I'm feeding snakes and it's a retic. Like I'd rather have your boob or the baby. Like,
yeah, people have asked me like why I'm so mean on retics. And it's not because retics aren't cool or something. It's just most people don't need a retic, and most people who breed retics don't need to be breeding them because we don't need that many retics, and that'll make people mad at me. But I'm just telling you, we need it. People
don't.
We have to make animals that
people than do right now. Yes, there are lots of great retic breeders. Not lots. There's a few really great retic breeders, and that's all we need. Like there does not need to be.
Brian, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get the spanking.
But he like knows what he's doing, and he's not like, I'm just gonna buy 10 today because I got it. You know, like that's so dumb.
No,
that
he knows. He barely breeds
uneducated.
his mainlands. I'm just saying, retics are for hot people who can afford retics. Let's put it that way.
Yes. So I just wanted to say, Patricia, maybe that she needs to be the third person on our podcast because she actually does her homework, Jessica. Jessica asked me to do stuff every week, and I probably only ever do half of it if I'm being real generous with myself.
People wonder why we don't like review podcast episodes anymore. It's because it's not actually that fun for me to talk to Jana about something she didn't watch. So we don't highlight any of them anymore because I'm just like, we'll get to it one day.
We'll get to it one day. One day again, it will happen. Maybe. So yeah, there are people out in the world, Jessica, that will do their homework for you. Good job to you is what I'm trying to say, and bad job to me. But anyway, so let's move on to the next video that we want to just highlight for a minute.
So if you want a good intro to convince you of how to get into ball pythons or what way that motivates you, but also
look who's here. This is totally not planned, people. Anyway, go ahead.
You should listen to this video by Leviathan Snakes, which is how to make 50K a year, which is the real answer to how to make 2K a month is make 50K a year and then cover your expenses and taxes. And then you'll have 2K of take home. That's the real answer here, not, pretend like expenses don't exist and taxes.
Taxes exist and they.
Right. You want your take home to be 2K. So let's listen to Steven a little bit his dulcet tones. Let them watch
And he
over
doesn't
you.
have a laugh that makes us all cringe.
Ball pythons a year, and you're able to sell all of them for an average sale price of $300, you will be able to make $50,000 a year breeding ball pythons.
Okay.
Now, moving on to the next one.
So he does the exact same scenario Chris did, but better. Like if you were going to target the $300 price point, it's how many snakes you need, how much infrastructure you need, how much like purchasing of the breeding animals to make that. And then it makes it really obvious that you don't really want to do 100% pet only price point.
He talks about all the levels. If you are trying to tell someone about what you do, if you're trying to tell someone to get them into it, don't recommend Chris Hardwick's video. Recommend Leviathan's video because it is the whole picture and it really lays it out nicely. It's completely well done. It's very comprehensive, and it is the video I wish I had 3 years ago because it took me 2 years, almost 3, to arrive at that place of trying to figure it out on my own while ignoring Jessica's sage advice. So, yes, taxes. No, you totally don't have to file those. Don't worry about it, Andy.
FBI, open up.
Nobody's going to be coming to your house.
Sound effect too. Yeah, no, it was a good video, Steven. We're happy to.
It was a great
as
video.
An alternative to what
totally
Jana
did not.
It could have changed Jana's life if that video existed 3 years ago.
If it had existed 3 years ago. So that's the real video that we want to be pushing. The real video that we want to be. I know that this weekend there was a lot of people that were asking me questions about getting into the hobby, and this is the video I should have been recommending, and I was not. I was still recommending the really terrible video that I should never be recommending that video. But they asked me how I got into it, so I share my story, and so inadvertently
just
I
lie,
recommend.
Jana. Sometimes you can
lie. Just lie. So now I'm going to be recommending Leviathan's video from now on, and I'll feel good about it inside, and I can actually say, watch this video rather than, hey, when I got into it, I saw this one video. I didn't tell him who it was. I just said it, but it's really easy to find. All you have to do is Google it. And so
very Googleable title, which we're not knocking like the idea of talking about money. Obviously we love talking about money and business structure planning. That all of that is good. And that makes people want to watch it. And like having a clickbaity title, don't care. Good. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
But I think we're actually like critiquing the structure of his advice because I don't think it's actually that. It's not actually that great of advice. Some of his advice is good, like upgrade your snakes eventually, of course, but a lot of it is not that great. And maybe he changed his mind since then because it's a 4-year-old video.
Oh, right. It's so old. And literally, like we said, where this is not a we hate him or we like him, we're endorsing him or we're not. This is literally like, this is how I got into the hobby. This is why I'm here. And we're talking about my experience. So please leave your opinions out of it because that's not what this is. So if you have people who are interested in the hobby or you have people who are starting their journey, we recommend that you send them Leviathan's way rather than the other way. But my experience, that is the journey that I took. Also, you know, like a lot of people hate on his morph videos and stuff, but that's how my brain worked. And going on to Morph Market and just trying to like randomly digest all these morphs was overwhelming to me. And so being able to go and specifically be like, I'm going to learn about Enchi today, and I'd watch his video and then I'd go on to Morph Market and look at Enchis, and then I would like trickle around and I would just like learn a new morph like every day. And so for me, that was a very digestible format to start. Obviously most of us who are here outgrow that, and but I still think that there is room in the hobby for that, or that it can be helpful. And I am not mad that that's how I started. Obviously, I'm here. I'm doing fine. I am going to continue to do fine. I have learned. I have upgraded my collection. Although I do still have those those normal pieds.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's still
you already bothered to raise them up.
Yeah. So I better get at least a clutch out of them before I move on to something better. But I overall, like, that's what I needed to hear. And doing this ball python thing kind of changed my life. And I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad at him. I think that even if it was predatory, I needed to be predatorized and predated upon. And I'm not sad about it. I am happy that I'm here. I'm happy that I started that journey. The format that he gave it to me in was the format I needed at the time. And I don't know, I'm really grateful that came to my life when it did.
Grateful that you're here.
Yeah. I made it.
Happy.
I survived. The $2,000 a month. I could say I did that if we just looked at no expenses.
Yeah, I've definitely on purpose had much more expenses than profit. But my husband has a W-2 income, so we get the sweet reduction in income on that side. So it's fine. But obviously,
it was fine. We're filing this year together, but next year I'm on my own.
You should be set up to be better and better positioned.
I will be better positioned.
All right, let's talk about this show because we're running out of time. Jana went to a show as an adult. I'm being a slave driver because you have your own self-identified need to leave.
I know. So I should be the slave driver. You're being
mean
today. So this weekend was PACNWRS, and I actually made it to the show. Everybody, can I get a hell yeah? I did it! Yay! Gold star. So I went to this show, and I honestly expected not a lot because in the industry, you just learn when it's going to be good sales and when's not going to be good sales. And right after Christmas and before tax season, usually sales are really slow, online, in person, wherever. They're just slower. And has nothing to do with the recession. That has nothing to do with where the market's at, ball python wise, or in the world. It's literally just... Oh, Andrew, always got my back. Thank you. It was an amazing show, and I was really shocked by that.
Puget Sound said that.
Yeah.
Only people.
Sorry, Puget Sound Pythons saying it was an amazing show, and I heard that from everybody that they had a really good show. I asked Jeff for the numbers, and I don't know. I would guess there was probably 10,000 people through the door. Sunday was actually busier than Saturday, which I've never seen before at a show. I did better on Sunday, which I've never had happen before. I sold so many snakes.
Do you know if the door was better on Sunday, or you just happened to do better on Sunday?
He did not give me. No, he never gave me door numbers.
That's sneaky Jeff.
That's sneaky Jeff. And I actually never saw his face this time. And
he didn't come by to visit Holly.
His family did, because they always come and buy stuff, but I did not see him. But that does not mean that he did not stop by my booth. It was just that busy. And so it was insane. It was like standing room only.
Powerhouse said he did better on Sunday too. That's so interesting.
I mean, it was so interesting because I did so bad on Saturday, even though there were so many people there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make nothing at this show, because I always do about half on Sunday what I did on Saturday. And Saturday I sold 4 snakes, and I think I made $1,000, like 900 or something. And that's with my kids' sales. Okay. And so I think like 600 of that was her, and 300 of that was me. And so like really low end snakes, but I had sold 4, and I was like, less snakes is great because I need less to do. So obviously worth my time to be there. And I had expected it to be a really slow show. Really surprised that there were so many people there physically. But also then like nobody was buying, in my opinion. Other people I think did much better that day than I did. But
what did you bring? Just 2022 babies, or did you bring older stuff? Or
I just had babies. I just had 2022 babies. I only had one of my acrylic displays, and then my the one I put deli cups in. So I didn't even
do that because you didn't think stuff would sell, or you were worried about or did you just do it because you didn't feel like getting that much ready?
So I did it basically, whoever ate frozen thawed that week, I took. So if they didn't eat that week, or they took a live instead of a frozen thawed, I didn't even bother to bring them, because frozen or live eaters at shows that are slow don't usually sell at all. So it was like extra work for me anyway. And so I literally just ate. Who ate is who went. So I took, I think 30 snakes and that felt like enough. Like I didn't feel like I needed to haul 50.
But you didn't take
snakes.
like breeder.
I didn't take
females
any
that you
breeder
didn't wanna-
females. I had a
Okay.
couple of like lame holdbacks that I was like, why am I holding this back? Like, but those didn't sell at all. And so it was just hatchlings. And I had my deli cup display that had my under 200 snakes in it, and then everything over 200 I had in my acrylic. And because I only had one acrylic, I used the like multi-bin ones instead of the like 3, 4, 5. I had 5, 5, 4. And
was your sales all sub something, or were they all over the place? Sub $200 or?
So my most expensive animal was $500 at the show, and
that's pretty good.
That's pretty great.
For most shows.
Yeah, and I sold both snakes that were at $500, but I sold them on Sunday afternoon, and I had them marked down to $450. So they sold at $450, but still, they both sold. And I sold a total of 16 snakes, and then I wholesaled 6 at the end of Sunday. And I ended up doing like $3,100 at the end of the show, which I was shocked. I was just utterly shocked that, and that's not counting the wholesale. So it was 3,300 counting the wholesale. But I went home with 20 less snakes, and I was just like flabbergasted because I've never, even wholesaling at other shows, I've never went home with that many less snakes. So I went home with 10 snakes. It was so weird. I was ecstatic. My child sold out and most of her things on her side because I hadn't bought anything more because it was mostly just the like leftover stuff from last season. And then I'll buy more for this like April, the next season, basically. And then like everybody that I was talking to did so well. So I have written down Stoneage only brought 5 snakes and he sold 2 of his 5.
Only brought 5 snakes?
Yeah, I don't know if he was sharing a table. I never made it over there because it was so busy. I like never left my booth. So even though like the first day I didn't do a lot of sales, it was like nonstop people there that you're talking to and answering questions and stuff and handing out like so many business cards. And I've already gotten like 3 emails about people who didn't buy at the show who want to buy from me.
Excellent.
Which is always great. And I tell people that a lot, like make sure you're handing out business cards because I always do sales right after shows of people who weren't quite ready because I don't push sales. If you don't look like you're ready or you look like, I'm not sure, a lot of people will be like, oh, you'll be fine. And they just give them the snake. I'm not like that. I think that's predatory. And I think
like the after sale thing depends on the market. Like a pet person would do that, but like, I don't know. Like I didn't get any inquiries post Shawnee.
Okay, I always get.
I did after the scary show where 3 people went, but like there's something about a show like if it's only grungy people who don't have the money to buy snakes and they already are only into snakes, they're not gonna like message you later,
right?
Unless they wanted to buy something specific, but like a pet person.
No, I always get lots, and so I usually do about 1,000 after sales because those people are usually gonna buy like a $300 or $400 snake from you. Because they just weren't ready. They're not usually going to buy the $40 snake. They're usually going to get a nice one and they're going to have it right. And they're going to have a really nice enclosure set up and they wanted to do more research and then you can refer them to your rat people. Anyway, so Stoneage, I don't know if he had his own table. I'll have to check with him because that's not very many snakes to bring. But Powerhouse, he sold 5 snakes, but he sold out of rodents, $2,500 in rodents. Damn. At some point on Sunday, he came over and he was like, Jana, stop sending me your rodent people. He's like, I'm out, knock it off. Because he was literally like straight down the way from me. Like I was on one side. So you could easily like reference. But I could like point to his sign and I was like, go talk to Powerhouse about your rodent needs. And I wouldn't even like tell them any information. So I was literally like sending them to him like so green. And I'm like, here's your snake. Go talk to Powerhouse. Yeah, just
ask him every question you've ever had about rodents.
He loves it. And so he like literally came up to me and he was like, knock it off. And I was like, you're welcome.
Puget Sound Python said they sold 30 snakes and a few isopods, but they've been moving slow. ISO supplies went well though.
Oh, that's so cool. They also had, I don't know if they did it or if a family friend did it. They also had like crocheted, homemade like goodies, like think axolotls and lizards and like all kinds of really cool. And it looked like that whole table sold out too, because they were right next to us, like kitty
So
corner next to us.
crocheted little toys.
Yes, and I think
that's
that
cool.
I think that they sold out of all of those too, because I think Sunday afternoon my kids were like, "Oh, I want one of those," and I was like, "I think they're gone." Sorry.
Thanks for coming, Adam. I think we shouted out you before you were here. I don't know, but
no, one was here when we shouted him out.
Okay, thank God. All right, have fun.
Mesa Terra, who always vends with me, Holly, she does earrings, necklaces, jewelry. Also, she bought a whole bunch of corn snakes wholesale from Jessica before she moved to Oklahoma.
She told me she sold out. She finished.
She sold out of corn snakes, and she also did 4K in jewelry.
4K in jewelry.
Damn, sister.
Dang,
like,
girl.
Dang, I'm in the wrong business. You don't have to feed jewelry.
Okay. I'm not trying to like crimp on Mesa Terra style, but you can like not I don't have time to make jewelry. That's a different job. I don't have time for that. But you can buy like wholesale, sterling silver studs with like turtles on them or whatever. So I wouldn't do it if I vended with her, but
Right.
I've been thinking about like buying wholesale sterling silver, something that's not going to rot your ears out. It's not like pure nickel.
Yeah, no, you definitely
like
should.
Gold or whatever.
Totally different market, but she kills it at every show.
Right. And they're small. They don't weigh that much. They don't, you can load them up relatively quickly. And I mean, they're like a theft risk item, but
Future Sound Pythons, does she have a business name we could shout out? They said that all the crocheted stuff was their friend and it was her first time vending, and she did sell out and they were really excited for her. Mm-hmm. Really cute homemade stuff. Like, people always ask, "Oh, do you make your stuff?" I'm like, no, it's cheap crap from China. If you want homemade stuff, go across the aisle to that cute
right. So if anybody's
over
crafty, do it.
If it's homemade, it does sell way better than the cheap China stuff, but I do not have time for that. But Alicia, if she has a business, they'll shout it out in the comments. But really cute, really nice stuff that you could definitely tell was like high quality homemade.
PCF Funny World says, I buy more toys and precious rocks than animals. Yeah, the gym dealers always do good.
Fossil they do great.
Yeah. And then Richard says he made $50 to $100 in sales.
Woo! That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I know like 33 doesn't sound like a lot, but I was literally expecting to make $1,000 that weekend because of the time frame that it was. And so to see so many people through the door and to hear from so many people that they had such a good weekend. Stoneage asked Cue Ball Morse how he did, and he wasn't willing to give a number, which is fine. We respect that. But he said it was his best weekend at a show,
which is crazy for a January show.
Insane for January. And he had brought racks, and he has really high-end snakes, and he had, I think, like 4 tables, plus they let him have the whole wall next to the bathrooms, and he had racks all along that wall.
Did you attack anybody that came in from far away besides JMG to get like how they did?
I didn't ask JMG how they did. The person who vended with me, she was selling baby kits, like with the heat mats and baby bins and like hides and cute little clutter and stuff. She's a huge fan of his, and she's getting into hognose breeding, and so she went over and was chatting with him a couple of different times. She really wants him to be her mentor, but just like most of us in the hobby, we're a little awkward and weird.
Man, the spectrum.
The spectrum will get you every time, and so it's like hard to generate a conversation, especially those of us who are Alicia's. Okay, help me out, Jessica.
Amigurumi.
Is she on Instagram? Anyway, her stuff was super cute, guys. And I've noticed that, I don't know if people listen to the podcast or if they've just seen it or if it has nothing to do with me at all, but I've noticed that a lot of the other snake vendors have started carrying like kid-friendly reptiles and plushes and toys and stuff like that. To just kind of pad their income for the weekend. And so it was kind of cool to see like what other people had brought as well. But my kids still sold out, like still killed it. Yes. Look at how cute they are. Oh my gosh. Those went all on Saturday. Like they went so fast. They're super cute. And you can tell that they're handmade, but like really high quality, super cute stuff. Yeah, that was fun to see because I do not have time for that. But I always love it when people come and they've made their own things. I try to push customers their way. anyway, it was a great weekend. I was really shocked by how everyone did. I was really shocked to see how many animals went home with people. It was incredible. So I have high hopes for the April show because I didn't take as many animals as I thought. I'm definitely going to do the April show because I was like, oh, I probably won't need to. But I definitely need to go to the April show.
Lilac Hollow Ball Python says cute crocheted animals in Ontario. She's got her own table at the next Toronto Expo.
Yeah.
So, I think homemade stuff should be priority. Something that's better than buying an animal.
Amigurumi. There you go. PSP. Jessica likes to make me say hard words too. It's just here for your entertainment.
He sold 9 geckos, adult males and females, and a few proven breeders and ready to be. So maybe, I don't know, like when the right time to bring females, adult ball pythons to sell. It's obviously not now because they're like half follicle developed and they would just resorb. So like it's tough.
I'm
going
to bring them
in
April, and I'm going to market them for next because none of mine have gone yet. But I'll also, when I take females, because I have an ultrasound, I always ultrasound them and list their millimeters.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll never send a 20 millimeter out to pasture. Kayla says, I always bring plush toys to fin with. That's your like jam, right?
I was going to say, isn't that your whole business? Like you don't sell snakes, right?
Right. All right. How much time do we have left, Jana? 15 minutes?
We have 15 minutes. Woo!
Okay. We do our second ad break before we ruin our obligations to our vendor.
Before they hate our faces.
Yeah. Hi, Equiline. What's up?
All right. Bravo Zulu, our favorite female veteran and starter of the women's ball python group on Facebook. She admins that, but she also started it. If you want to support women veterans in business, please message her. She is also a full-time student, just like me. I feel that so hard. I feel that so hard. So she's really amazing. If you don't know who she is, you need to know who she is because she's really great people. So check her out on Instagram, Morph Market, Facebook, all the places. And then Chris at BNS Reptilia, our favorite guy for non-ball pythons, although he does have great ball pythons. If you're looking to branch out or learn about other species or just buy other species in general, he's your guy. This is one of the reels he just posted, which I think is pretty fun to see other snakes besides ball pythons in my feed with sparkles. Okay, so Lori of Gray Family Snakes will be on Snakes and the Fat Man Live Sunday. She will be co-hosting that episode. Also, the snakes on their morph market are now no longer listed as on hold. So if you were wanting to get into the VPI Axanthic Pied project, they have lots of beautiful babies that are well started and you're getting a jump. So when you get that tax money, run their way, please.
I have to do taxes this week. Thank you for all of our sponsors. We appreciate you every day.
Every day. We still can't believe that none of you have backed out.
God bless their hearts. Let's go.
Let's go.
Forward motion. Jared sent this to me.
Yep. Damn,
Butter,
son.
Enchi Kiki. I like it. Even though I've been like, Enchi's too reducing. It's something about like the creamy, but it doesn't look that much like a Kiki, so I think you're not gonna like it. But I just like that it's creamy. I want to eat it.
Lord Gray with a correction. It's not co-hosting, it's the guest. I'm sorry, I think of it as co-hosting when he does the lives and invites a woman on, but you're correct, it's guest. She's the guest this Sunday. So make sure you catch that live and support Lori in the comments. But this is the coolest. I love it. I really
like it.
And it makes me happy because it has butter / leather, which we all know I have so much in my Kiki project. It's not even funny. It's actually really sad. So I'm glad that it looks good. I'm glad that I love it.
It looks like a toasted marshmallow or something.
It's so yummy.
Or like the toasted popcorn jelly bellies. I want to eat it a little bit is what I'm saying, and I imagine it tastes like toasted marshmallows.
It probably tastes like ball python poo, but
but in my mind it could taste like marshmallows.
But it's beautiful. It does not look like poop. It is not super reduced. It's got lots of fun happening on the side. You can see the stripe. It's. I wish I had more of a head stamp, but can't win them all. I love it. I am so glad there's.
This was Ires Reptiles. We don't shout out the owner of the picture enough. So let's
sorry.
Clear.
You're amazing. Good job. Thank you.
All right, very quickly, they did a crypto survey of free-ranging indigo snakes in Georgia. This is an Orient Society related study, and I couldn't get full text, so I couldn't read it all, but they did not discover any crypto in the wild in Georgia, but they did see it in Florida. So I can't read full text, so if anybody has full text, please send it to me. I want to read it. But as of right now, like everyone's all like, if it's in the grass, it's immediately going to get crypto. No, if it's at the reptile show, it's immediately going to get crypto, is my response to that.
Wow.
Burn.
Throwing down. I see it.
Next piece of news. This is an AEP video, always very nice at Always Evolving Pythons. But the point I wanted to make is he verbally says that his spot-nose cypress clown have substantial wobble. Because he was like, these power balls don't look too bad, but I've seen a lot of spot-nose cypress combos that are much worse than this. And so he doesn't show it or describe it, but he just offhandedly remarks. I remember a long time ago, we talked about it like 3 times. Like, does his breeder male have a wobble when it looks sort of unstable? Right. And they were like, maybe. Well, he basically confirmed it on the back end that wobble, that allelic combo is a wobbler to some extent. Take that for what you will.
Yep, take that to the bank. Just wanted to say that we have 62 people tuning in right now.
Oh my God, what are you guys doing here?
Make sure you smash the like. If you are not a subscriber,
yeah, we have some like fucking narcs who lurk around and just downvote us constantly. So
I think that means we've arrived. So if you want to downvote us,
want more
you go for it. The upvotes make me happy, just as happy as the likes.
All right, here's another piece of news. Somebody posted this on Morph Market, and I believe them. This is a Mojave clown pied posse yellow belly. What do you think?
I would say there's a really good chance that that's yellow belly.
No, clown pied.
I know, but it says posse yellow belly. I said there's.
I don't care about the posse yellow belly. I'm talking about like for the snakes that turn gray and indistinct. Having them in clown pied, it's obviously not that great of an idea because you literally cannot tell, but you can kind of tell because the lips are different and there's no stripe. But like,
it's not a classic clown head stamp.
Well, but
I still definitely
think
still looks clown.
No one should breed Mojave into clown pied, leopard into clown pied, etc. Like the uniform colored ones. That's my opinion. But you can still tell that it's a clown pied. It just doesn't look particularly distinct. No offense, Python Paradise. It's still cute looking, but that's why like your double het leopard Mojave clown pied male is like not the best choice.
Hello, Lilac, hollow ball pythons. Thank you for coming.
But I don't think I've ever seen one that they officially decided that that's what it was.
But also, that's like a bomb ass price. Is that a male or a female?
It's a male. I mean, the male price has gone way down. They're like $2,000.
I'm like, I need to get that. Thanks.
I wouldn't buy it ever.
I know you're saying that it doesn't belong in the project, but we don't have to.
Also, some people were like making fun of Tri-Stripe Clown, which is sort of like mid or whatever. But Tri-Stripe Clown is equally as mid as Clown Pied. Let me just put it that way.
Oh, those are fighting words.
Yeah. I'm saying they're slapping a clown head on the other one's phenotype. So like everyone who thinks Tri-Stripe Clown is too mid to do also somehow runs Clown Pied. And you're like, they're the same fucking thing. They're equally as mid. In my opinion.
No, they're not. You're wrong. You're wrong. Jessica's never wrong. But you're wrong.
You can like Pied more, and so you would want that combo more. But the idea of slapping a clown head on the morph and then being like, this clown head edition is different than this one. They're like the same thing. It's just like, which version of it do you like better? But people are like, I would never do tri-stripe clown because it's just a clown head on the other one's body. So is clown pied. It's the same thing. Equal mid is what I argue for.
Oh, Jube with her crap on clown. I used to be a crapper on clown, and now it's an project. So I blame Jessica.
I think clown's fine. I think here's what's going to happen. All ball pythons are going to be corn snakes. They're all going to be het for 40 things. And you're just going to be like, okay, this is fun. And you just, everything will be het clown, het pied, het G-stripe.
The quad
pretty
hets,
soon.
pied clown, G-stripe, and desert ghost.
And hypo, because it's already in there anyway, probably.
And some hypo. Yeah, that's true. So quad hets. Everything's just going to be quad het forever.
The hard part I learned this week, and this isn't news, but I just learned it. The Bells tested their desert ghost to a caramel very early. So a non-zero percentage of all desert ghosts are het caramel. So how embarrassing is that for the whole hobby? They didn't test it to ultramel or something that would be more viable. They tested it to caramel. So
that's fun news for everybody.
Yeah, because then you have to be like, do I like test my line for caramel with a caramel?
We don't have a
and
caramel
make a bunch of
test.
joes?
Oh no.
I mean, test by breeding.
No.
Honestly, no, that'd be terrible. But then like,
Ugh.
you could go to breed back your quad hets you made desperately and get a bunch of caramel in it.
No, you mean get a bunch of balls of kinks that are going to go in the freezer? And those aren't even freezer worthy because a king can't swallow that. Like, that's just euthanized trash.
Yeah. It sucks. Life sucks. So we need there isn't a test for caramel, but we need one so we don't have to make them on accident.
I don't want to know. It will ruin my life.
All right, that's our whole show. Jana, I think we made it on time. Did we make it?
We made it with 5 minutes to
shit.
spare. We
What
did
the
it.
fuck? We did it.
We did it. Okay, so 2 weeks in a row, I have failed at Movie Madness.
Movie Madness failure.
So I don't know. Should we re-hit anime and try again, or should we?
Okay, I got one for you. Wolf Children. Don't need a poll. It's about a mom who has to raise kids by herself.
Okay. Wolf Children. Writing it down.
I'm not going to spoil it any more than that, but it's like...
It's anime though, right?
Yeah, but it's up your alley. It just also has a fantasy aspect.
I like fantasy. I just didn't like the other one.
Princess Mononoke is a classic thing. You need to learn to like it.
If I had watched it in middle school, I probably would have loved it.
But you're an adult now, and you should have the spirit of a middle schooler.
It's just not where I'm at in my life.
Chainsaw Man once it's done, but right now, if you watch Wolf Children, I think you'll like it.
Okay, what was the other one that you guys are always talking about? You and Bob Boo were geeking over.
Dragon Ball Z. I don't think you have to watch it. It's too long.
But does it have? It's like 50,000 episodes, but does it have like an intro episode?
No, and it's not technically. It's not that good because it's like. It's like shonen for shonen's sake. If you're going to watch something that's really long, you should watch like Hunter x Hunter or something that like elevates the medium better to me. But yes, Wolf Children, she's going to love it. She'll cry a little bit in the beginning and maybe the end, but in the middle.
I need a good cry movie. So
no, it's like a good cry because you're like,
no, I do. I need a good cry.
Each other so much.
So Marshall Mendez found caramel in his ultramel clown.
No. Yeah, that's depressing. Yeah, they also tested ultramel to caramel, and they just sold them as head whatever instead of double head.
It's so painful, you guys. I can't breathe. All right, we'll chat. We'll chat
and then
later,
next
Kayla.
week, if people are interested, we could. If you're not interested, we're going to do like testing FAQ. But if you are interested, we could separately make $50,000 fake money purchase plans, like how we would spend $50,000 today to get
from actual Morph Market animals
$2,000 net a month future.
Start a ball python
So like
business.
we could respond with real listings, but it would take a while to do. So like if people aren't that interested in like going through Morph Market to make a project, which they kind of are, but I don't know if they are for 2 hours.
Well, I mean, like we'd have to get a couple of adults, we'd have to get future grow-ups, we'd have to like if we started today, what we would do. If you guys are interested in that $2,000 a month clickbait for relevant right now, let us know. If not, then
right. Otherwise it'll be finding your snake's coanal slit.
Yes.
Or your girlfriend's
which is
slit.
not as
They're
sexy
different.
as it sounds.
All right, everybody. Well, I told her to watch Grave of the Fireflies. Everybody voted for Mononoke, but she didn't like that. Grave of the Fireflies is good too, but I think Wolf Children like ends on like a bittersweet note that's still sweet. Grave of the Fireflies ends on depression.
Actually, I kind of like them when they're dark like that.
Okay,
I'm gonna throw it up both of those together again.
Wolf Children versus Grave of the... I don't know if enough people watch Wolf Children, but I love Wolf Children.
And people are gonna be like, "What the fuck is this animation again?" But it'll be fine, everybody. The
All right, everybody.
is important too.
I'm gonna hit the button. Hang in there.
Hit the button. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us. Hit the